This is my Advanced 3D Game Engines submission for my Semester 1 project. The aim for the Semester 1 project was to create a game where you had multiple characters that you could swap between with unique attributes to affect the level in some way or to make for an interesting gameplay concept. I decided early on to base my game on magnets and the polarities of magnets. So we have a positive represented by blue and we have a negative represented by red. We also have those sorts of colours on buttons and switches around the level, and even a cube. The aim of this level is to collect all the coins and reach the end goal. It's a simple puzzle game, just to show off the concept that I had. So, for the first puzzle here, it just says on the floor how to actually control the characters, ignoring just basic controls. This button is connected to the moving platform in the middle here. The way these buttons work is that they can be assigned to an affected item, and when the player matches the colours, it reverses back to the start, but when they do the opposites, it powers the mechanism to go forward. So, this is it going to the end of its animations, because it's an opposite on a positive button, and here is it going backwards in animations, because it is a positive on a positive, or identical. So, stepping off the button, if you step off the button early, it stops the animation midway. So, first puzzle here, you want to bring over the negative guy to the positive button so that you can step on it and bring the platform over, and then put the negative guy on it. Positive guy can then power the pad over the gap so that the negative guy can get to the other side to use the panels. You can also collect the coin midway. Now, you may notice that when I'm not controlling the characters, all animations freeze. I don't exactly understand how that happens or why that happens, however, it doesn't majorly affect the gameplay, presuming that the player doesn't massively mess with it, so I decided that it wasn't a major hassle to worry about. Because it just teleports you to the place that you're supposed to end up when you stop moving. Or when you switch back, excuse me. So, collect this coin here, and you may notice, he's stuck on the other side. So, if we do the opposites, it will send it forward again in the powered motion, which means then the positive player can step onto the button, and then you can use this panel to bring it back over. There isn't exactly a marking for platforms and such and how they're connected up, like a wire system or something, so that it's quite obvious. In games like Portal 2, they use like dotted patterns that go across walls and floors that link up to how the buttons would interact with whatever's around. I don't exactly know how to do that sort of thing, so I attempted to just make it as obvious as possible by trying to keep anything that's powered by something nearby. However, in the case of these, I decided I would create a custom graphic to show that this switch specifically activates this door. So, we can go on through here. Bring the positive guy with me so that we don't waste any time. So in this room, there's a couple of coins to collect on this side. And going over here, you can see that there is a door button again, but it has a different graphic. There's a silver graphic around the border. Silver graphics are supposed to be showing that when the button is held, it will do the animation. However, when it is not held, it will reset. So we need to find a way to hold the button down. First of all, though, let's quickly collect these coins. Blue guy needs to be on the other side. Collect this coin while I'm at it. Pull him over. Grab the coin. Pull him over, grab the coin, and then we can send the panel back. Makes it easier to get in for the next bit. So, over here, there is another positive door button. As you see there is 12 coins in the stage, 12 are required to open up that door, and behind it is the finish. This was simply done with a coin manager that used event dispatchers to call upon this event whenever a coin was collected, and then just calculate if 12 were collected or not. This total can be changed. It's just simply how many are in the stage. It calculates how many are in the array, which holds each of the coin data, and then it sets that as the intended value to reach. So when it reaches that value, it will rise up and finish the animation. So now that door is open, that's good. So blue button, which means that the it means positive, which means the negative guy has to stand on it, and this opens the door back there, as you can see that. But obviously if I come off of it, it's going to shut. So, leave the positive guy here, leave the negative guy there, excuse me, and use the positive guy. Jump in here, and there's a button on the wall, and has a red border, which means that only the positive guy can press it, because he's the opposite. Opposites are the ones that power it, identicals are the ones that don't. So you see there's an animation. And the reason that door opened is because the floating object above the button earlier was actually a cube spawner. It spawns a negative cube onto the positive button, which then opened the door for us. Now, I did program some simple physics blocking. If a positive player attempts to come into range with this cube, the physics for it will be disabled, so you can't push it around. However, if I just quickly bring the positive guy in here to save some time... Actually, I'll pause and then I'll come back when I've got the example ready to show. As you can see here, I have got the negative guy next to the negative cube, and he can push this cube around. The reason it's reversed for the cubes is that if a positive player pushes a negative cube onto the positive button, the code currently gets confused. So, I thought, what's a way to get around this? I did attempt a couple of coding solutions for it, however, I simply came to a gameplay solution. Only matching colours can push their matching coloured boxes, or matching polarities. Because, when you try and put negative against negative, or south against south in magnet logic, they try to push each other away, so it only makes sense that negative and negative, or similars, would be able to push each other. So, you can push this cube if you are negative, like so. Doesn't want to get back on the switch, whoops. It's alright. We'll just respawn it quickly. I'll be right back. Okay, we're back. So I pressed this switch off screen, but I just remembered as well, when this switch is pressed, let me just make sure this is all lined up. Yeah, so when this switch is pressed, it makes sure as well that there isn't any extra cubes in the stage. I didn't want players to be able to spawn as many cubes as they wanted, I wanted it to delete the previous instance of a cube. So when this switch is pressed, which I will show by switching character rapidly, so it might be a bit of a flash, but press, switch, look over, spawns a new cube, and deletes the old instance of the cube, simply by checking for classes in the stage. Now then, for the exciting part, a little bit exciting. You can go over here, and you can collect the finish. It's a simple thing, it's just spinning, it's a pickup. When you pick it up, it just flashes the screen with you win. There's one more thing to show, so I need to reset the stage for this. I will be right back after I have done that. Okay, and we're back. So, as you can see, I've reset the stage entirely. Now, if the player falls into a death pit, which I've attempted to make look like lava, but it's simple color coding for now. If they fall in, you'll see that the player gets destroyed and says, "You lose, respawning." What that is when you fall in, it just simply turns on a UI widget, which assigns to your screen, similar to the win state. However, then it starts a 3-second delay, and then afterwards, it reloads the level entirely. So if I collect a couple of coins here, maybe move the platform a little bit as well, just so it's in a bit of a funky place. If I reset here by falling off, and I'll even do it with the other player this time. Whoop. You'll see that we have 0 coins, the coins that we collected have respawned, and the platform has gone back to the beginning. So, final thoughts on this. I think this project was a bit hard for me. I didn't exactly have any sort of immediate inspiration. However, I came to the concept of using magnets thanks to a game called Teslagrad. But I feel like there was more that I could have done with this concept. It's definitely mostly in its infancy stage, and I think that there are definitely more mechanisms that can be done in this sort of way. Maybe something along the lines of like a magnetic pull that pushes you if you're the same element, pulls you in if you're opposites. But I think for a proof of concept that this is a good idea for now. I think that it would be good to expand upon. However, in my limited time frame, I haven't got time to expand upon it in any way. But I'm quite comfortable actually with how it came out. It actually feels pretty good. It feels like a good base system, and it feels like it would use a player's brain if I could make good puzzles, admittedly. My level design skills are still pretty iffy at best. I need to, in the next project, attempt to spend more time on designing levels, as this level is a bit simple, and it doesn't exactly challenge a player's brain, and it doesn't exactly lead them along either. For example, the cube in the second room, it's a little bit obtuse to assume that the cube spawner would do that, because it's not obviously a cube spawner. But that's elements that I will have to learn, and I will learn for the next project. I feel, though, that the positive thing that I've learned from this is simple color coding. It's very obvious to a player that once you get going, of course, blue on red, or blue on red in any combination will make something go forward, while matching the color will make something go back. It's very clear, the colors are very bright and striking, making it extremely easy to tell, and you can even just mess around with simple things like animations and such, and it can hold up pretty well. It's a pretty simple thing too, and it's quite modular, which is what I'm excited about. These moving platforms can move from a point A to a point B that can be set in the editor, so can the doors, and the cube spawners can spawn the cube wherever they like, but obviously, usually I've set it below the cube spawner because that looks the most natural. But I think this could be expanded upon if I had more time, and I'm going to probably be taking the color theory sort of thing that I've had going here with blue and red as like a sort of success, and use it in my future projects to help me color code beta ideas and help me create game flow a lot easier.